Hi, people. This is Lou. I know I've been giving my card away lately, so there are a few of you that are new. It's October 23rd, 2025. You know, I'm like normal flying by the seat of my pants. And I saw the comments, but I'm not teaching sewing. I'm basically talking to you guys while I'm trying to endeavor to sew. And just going through the process of picking out colors for quilts and figuring out designs and stuff. And I'm having trouble. I mean, if you watched last couple of videos, my first machine that I was using, I was able to thread it really easy. It was great. But it quit moving. The thing that goes up and down, up and down, up and down with the needle attached, it won't move. Now, I did find some oil in my daughter's sewing machine compartment, and I oiled it, but this was after it had seized and wouldn't go nowhere. And then I got it to move a little bit, and then I tried to, I'm going to try to sew a seam. Made it about 3, maybe 4 stitches, and it jammed. So that sewing machine that I got from the lady that gave me scrap material, and she gave it to me cheap, and it just needs somebody who knows what they're doing. In other words, machines do have to be serviced. I don't know how often, and with all this material that I'm using, I've been cutting a bunch. It creates lint, and then I'm sewing a bunch, which I haven't sewn that much, but it does create lint in the mix. So I'm not quite sure. I mean, so here I am, I'm using my daughter's machine. I love how the needle, the thing, the mechanism, the piece of metal that goes up and down, up and down, up and down. And it makes the needle go into the thread or into the material, the fabric. So anyway, I put my sewing machine down. Haven't put it back in the box yet because that's going to be a pain in the butt. But I've got my daughter's machine out because, like I said, I made it 3 or 4 stitches and then it just jammed up again. So it's not, there's something wrong. Now, I did not go into the bobbin because, like, one of the books, I don't know which one now because I've used 2 machines. It showed 3 things to oil, and one of them was down where the bobbin is. But that's not where the problem is. The problem is somewhere in that arm. Because, I know, I have to turn around for it to be the right way. But for me, on my right-hand side, there's a knob. And some machines, you just twist it to counterclockwise, and it'll loosen up, and so you can feed the bobbin without your needle going up and down, up and down. And then you just tighten it back up. Well, then, my machine that I got from that lady, the middle, there's the round piece that you would turn backwards, but there's inside that is a middle piece. You pull it out, and then it makes it so the needle doesn't go up and down. I mean, it's fine and dandy. But the problem is, I couldn't get the needle to engage. It's not the needle, it's that arm. I could not move it. In fact, I hurt my wrist trying to get it to move. And like I've said, my bones are kind of fragile right now, I think. Partly because of age and partly because of my treatments. I have an update. But then I don't have it in my head. My purse is in the other room. Oh, it's in here. It's in here. Okay, let's see. I could give you the gist of it, but I wanted to have those exact numbers. The cancer marker numbers. I got a whole bunch of papers in my purse now, so please excuse me until I get to the right stuff. And also, I have to put the glasses back on. So I went to the doctor today, and you know, that's over by Walmart. And I've been going crazy lately, getting material. Fabric. When I ordered this cobalt blue, I was expecting it to be like a royal blue, but it's not. I mean, it's pretty, and I did not bring it in here. I left it in the other room. But I got 2 3-yard bolts of what I call royal blue, but what they called it was lapis, L-A-P-I-S, probably, something like that. Okay, so this is my next appointment, November 20th. Oh, and I didn't tell them to make sure that was crossed off. I better do that. It's too late in the day. Okay, so I remembered and recorded today, so I'll have to go back and listen to it again because I always forget something. But I just had a PET scan, which tells cancer activity. And then I just, 2 days ago, I went and had my blood drawn. And then everything got mixed up when I went to the doctor. I'll take it off. Everything kind of got mixed up because I was seeing the doctor because it was time for my injections, and she had it set up where I would have that PET scan ahead of time. Okay, but me and the powers that be couldn't cross paths, didn't cross paths, and finally I called. And so anyway, my PET scan was scheduled the day after, for tomorrow. My appointment with my doctor was today, and so we needed the results before that. Anyway, I get there, and they take me to the room, to the doctor's room, and she's fixing to get ready to draw some blood. I says, "What are you doing?" She says, "I've got an order here to take labs." And I'm going, "I just did that. I did that 2 days ago. It should be in the system." Because I have to do that. I wanted the cancer markers because I was going to see the cancer doctor. That was the reason I wanted it. And the order was there to have both a comprehensive, I don't know what they call it. I'm calling it comprehensive. Some type of a blood work thing done where they got all kinds of numbers. And then the other one is the cancer markers. Well, that's what I'm interested in. And if I knew more, I'd probably be interested in the other ones too. But the main thing is, so I just remembered something she said today. I was tripped too. But anyway, so cancer marker numbers. I don't know a lot about it. I was trying to find out what normal is, and actually they don't have a normal. Did you know that? Look up what normal cancer marker numbers is online. 0 to 35. But then there's other things that influence it. And then there's what else? Still can't prove that there's disease, is what it says in this writing here. But the PET scan does. Okay, but here's the deal. I remember my numbers not that long ago. They're trying to do a PET scan every 3 months, but last time when she ordered the PET scan, they wouldn't let me have it. They wanted me to do these other 2 scans. And then it turned out those other 2 scans didn't tell us anything because they didn't have anything to compare it to. Okay. Should not be interpreted as absolute evidence of the presence or absence of disease. Got it? Okay, so anyway, there's 2 different cancer marker numbers, and I don't know anything about what's what. I just know that in watching them, they've been going down. I was hoping they'd be down a lot lower, but actually it's only been 2 months since I got the last results, so there's a month missing there. I mean, not that it would go down even more. I will try to get to the point. Now, what did she say? Because she was telling me what they were in June. I want to say 284. And I don't know what the other one was. There were 2 numbers. Maybe 281 and 284. But then they went down, the last time I was there, went down to 198 and 202. Okay? Well, today, I mean, from the test 2 days ago, my number that was 198 is now 162. And the other one that was 202 is now 170. I mean, they're both still high, but it almost sounds like they don't know. Should not be interpreted as absolute evidence of the presence or absence of disease. So the point is, I wanted those numbers, and there they are. And from a year or so ago, at least a year ago when it was 1,400, these numbers are great. And she said, I mean, I'm not saying it all just exact. I need to go back and listen to it again, you know, because when you're there, you're kind of there, but you're not getting it all. So what is it? I'm going to have to go back and listen. But it sounds to me, I don't want to overstep, but I think that's what she said. Where there were some activity before there's not. I would call this PET scan saying no activity. This is the side where the cancer was. When she said there is something about right in here underneath the pectoral muscle, which I don't know what that is, but I know they put the implant underneath that muscle. But anyway, there's nothing. I'm going to have to listen to that because I think she's saying there's nothing between my lungs, whereas I was told there was before. But then again, 2 different people said different things because there's lymph nodes down here. So, but from what I'm getting, there's geez, I have to listen to that again. There's no activity. We'll just say, she said it was better than the last. I mean, she told me things, but then when I got a little confused, she just said that it's better than the last scan. So they've been increasingly getting better. And I was concerned about the fact that these treatments, the Zometa, while it is helping to, I look at it as grow new bone. It's growing new bone in there. And that part, what she explained today, is that part is what's soft. And then it'll harden. So I can understand that better. But the point is, I have to take my calcium and vitamin D, and I have to drink my fluid, and I'm just not real good at that. But she said I was doing fairly well. I mean, it sounded to me like a lot of things were good. So, I don't even think there was some stuff across my hip. I'm trying to remember how she put it. So there was a little piece right here under that muscle. in the side where the cancer was. She didn't say how big, but nothing in between my lungs, nothing down. I'm going to say it. I don't know that she said it, but nothing down in my heart cavity, because that's kind of what I had been told, between my lungs in the heart cavity. As I told her today, I'm going, I had a doctor before tell me that she could see. She could see healing in my bones. And I want to know, are you able to see that? I don't know what her answer was. but anyway, sounds like my bones are doing pretty good. Except for I have lost an inch. I don't want that. I shrunk an inch. No, I don't want to be 5'2", eyes are blue. That's part of a song. Anyway, so a weird song's playing in my head. I don't even know what it is. It is a Charleston, that's what it is. Da-da-da, da-da-da, do-do, and a Gucci goo. Has anybody seen my gal? I think it's my gal. Okay, so I forget what it was. I was going to go off on a side trail before because I wanted to get you those numbers before I forgot. So it's 162. I was thinking it was 167. 162 and 170. Those are the two numbers. And so I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to see her again, but hopefully it's in the system because I didn't tell anybody to book me. I just have my appointment for the next time where I get the Zometa, which is an IV that works on your bones, and then the shots that I get every 28 days, that has to do with hormones. And what it has to do is stopping my receptors from receiving hormones. And then I take a pill every day that stops me from creating hormones. So they're really doing me, they're doing me good, but they're doing me bad. Because I believe I need my hormones. And when you get at my age, you don't have that many anyway. But then you find out that you can get hormones from all kinds of things. So I don't know. I don't want to take a chance, but I'm, getting close to where I want to do that. Okay, so let me address my newcomers. Because if you weren't new, you would know that I'm just experimenting. And once upon a time I did so, but I am definitely not an expert. And what I did, and what you should do, I'm not being mean, okay? What you should do is look it up, search it, as in, show me how to thread and tell them what kind of machine you got. And I bet it'll pop up. See, I've been experimenting because I'm not sure how to thread these machines. Now, Jessica's machine that I just started using, it has a diagram. And maybe my other one does too. But I'm still not sure about it. And then my thread, it seems to have lint in it too. And so my tension seems awful tight. It's probably not tight, but it's probably the thread. But when I went by Walmart today and got some more thread, but they didn't have any 100% cotton. They had 100% polyester, but we don't want that because we don't want our threads to melt. Like if I were to decide to make hot pads or some such thing where you're going to put something hot on it, it can melt your threads. And then if I was to make bowl cozies, which I'm not planning on doing, but if I was to make bowl cozies, then I would want 100% cotton also, because people put it in the microwave. I can see how it would help your hands not burn if you get your bowl too hot. But the other thing is, if something boils over, it's boiled over all over your cozy. So it saved you from cleaning up glass. But I don't want my cozy messed up. Anyway, it's okay. I went by Walmart and I don't have it in here. So I know I probably already told you about the royal blue. So I would call that cobalt blue. That's what I thought that was. But no, and they didn't call it royal blue either. It is lapis. But it's beautiful and bright. So I'm not sure what I want to mix that with. And actually I need to get probably some materials that have these two colors at least swirled in it. Wouldn't that be true? My grandsons want me to throw white in the mix, and I'm trying to figure out how to do that. I mean, I've kind of got it, but I know good and well I'm going to start to see a design and have to go within this design, and I don't want to have a design. I want it to be haphazard. Haphazard, is that really a word? But you know what I mean. Without a plan. I mean, you want somewhat of a plan because you want some variety in your quilt. You don't want all the, like they've been saying on the tutorials, you don't want all the, they said when you look at it, you can see dark and you can see medium and you can see light. And so you, I mean, in the materials, you separate it into those 3 stacks. And then you put 3 of them together. That's if you're doing those strips like I've been doing. You put 3 of those strips together, sew them, iron it flat, and then cut it. Whatever the 3 of them puts together, because they're using 2.5 inch jelly rolls, which is 2.5 inches wide by 40 cuts, around 40, not always, but around 40. And 42 to 44 inches long, because that's the depth of your yard. Your yard is 36 inches, but your depth is going to be 42 to 44. Now these materials, one was one and one was the other. Now see, these are the colors that my grandson wants, but he wants white added. And I was there and they had some white. And I almost bought a yard of it, but I just didn't make myself buy it. But I did buy royal blue, and it's so beautiful. I guess I could hit pause. I could, okay. I made use of that pause button. It's pretty neato. So I went into the other room and brought back what I bought today. That color. Royal blue. I like that color. Now, I don't know, like, if you were to do your colors, if that is a cool color, but I think it might be. It's a bolder color. You know, you have your pastels and then you have your bold colors. So I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm excited. I love that color. I think Jessica likes that color. She just had her nails done that color. But then here is that Harbor Blue. If you ask me, that's green. But it's like, it's got some blue in it. So, check it out. Blue and green. Blue and green go good together. Okay, and then here's that other color. I didn't find burgundy. Jessie had mentioned burgundy and emerald green. So I found the Harbor Blue that looks green to me. And this, I guess, is brown. I don't know. It's called henna. And like I said, I stopped by Walmart today and they did not have any of this color. They had something called lacquer that was similar. But I can order this exact same color, I believe. Hopefully their lots don't change. Like yarn, when they do a bat of yarn and stuff and it comes out, well, that color has a lot number. Because I remember you could not get the same color again. So when you were buying your yarn for your Afghan, you bought it all if you wanted it to match. So this is the one that is in Tyler's. Okay, this is they called that cobalt blue. And I don't know, but he said it matches one of his teams. So I wasn't planning on doing solid squares. So when mixing things up, maybe I could find a cotton material that was not solid white. Maybe it would have white in the background and maybe these two colors together in a design. Wouldn't that be trip? I would love that. But it is for a boy. And Jessica wants hers just solid. But then again, I just think they need to go shopping with me and help me pick out the material. But I have to find it at a decent price. And so price factors in as to what's available. And then still, I don't know. What do I want to do? I was looking through Jesse's sewing box. And it was just cute because I used to make drawstring bags. And I used to have one as a purse. I didn't make the one that was my purse. But anyway, I forgot all about that. I've been wanting to do drawstring bags, but I had forgotten about the past. So I get into her box, and down there in the bottom are all these little bags. All these little teeny bags. See, I've been wanting to do the medicine bags. So she's got these little drawstring bags, and they're attached to like what you would put a key on. You know, have it hanging from your keys. But it was just trip because, you know, she was with me when I was doing all that. Trying to figure out something to sell, always. Got carried away. Got lost down a trail, a path. You put so much concentration into things that don't work. I'm just saying I did. I've spent a lot of energy, creative juices, but taking away from my daughter. We should have been more together. I was too busy, lost in my head. That's why I tell people, you know, in the blink of an eye, they're gone. So, be careful how you spend your time. Because when it boils down to it, your family is where it's at. But when you're young and broken, you can't see that. Okay, so that was what I wanted to tell you, was those numbers. And I don't know exactly when it was, but I know it was at least a year ago, and it might have been, it might be close to a year and a half, because I was supposed to go back and see him in February. And it won't be long, it'll be February again. I'm not sure what I want to do. I've been trying to figure out a design. But I still didn't address, I did a little bit. Okay, I did. I've been flying by the seat of my pants since July 16th, 2023. That's when I started my channel. And I started it to share 20 papers that I had saved over the years. And I'm thinking it's 20. I might be off a little bit, because I did decide not to use some of them as I was doing them. But if you go down to my post, somewhere on there, it'll have my post. You click on that, and then you can scroll down, or whatever. You're going to scroll. And I forget what I was telling you to go. Oh, I got a list. I've got a list with some titles on it of some papers that I wrote when I was way young. Turn on your light so you're not in the dark. I wrote that 44 years ago. 44. My voice wants to go away, but 44 years ago I wrote that. And that was after I had told my daughter, turn on your light so you're not in the dark. She was sitting in her room. Her bedroom, she was sitting in her bedroom, and she'd been playing, and as the sun went down, it got dark in there, and I'm telling her, turn on your light. But anyway, after I told her that, I'm thinking, what did you just say? And so I went and wrote a paper about it. I went and wrote, I believe probably in my journal, what I was thinking. And it was an analogy of turn on your light so you're not in the dark. And it is so super good. So, if any of you guys would like to go back and check out some of my papers from before, you probably have to have the titles. So, if you scroll down through my post and you find a piece of white paper that's got handwriting on it, that's got titles to some of my first videos. So what you would do is like that particular one. You would say, turn on your light so you are not in the dark on Lose Touch. And that's LOU''S space TOUCH. Now, if you write all that in the search bar, it'll take you to me. You'll see my face because I'd be talking all the time. Most of the time, my face is there. But nevertheless, that's a really good paper. And then there's one called Beauty of the Rose. Extremely good. Especially for members of the church. They will understand what I'm talking about when I start comparing things to the celestial kingdom and the terrestrial kingdom and the telestial kingdom. When all is said and done, we're going to reap our reward. I think that's what I'm trying to say. I was just thinking this would go good with this. Different colors. I might just have to put all these colors together. Do, 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 do. You know, like, this is that, it's not burgundy, but it's similar. I haven't been able to find the burgundy, so I was going for something that was similar. Same with this being like an emerald. Anyway. Do, 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 do. Yeah, that would probably go good together too. What's really neat about sewing these strips together is that you can cut them and then turn them, and you're getting like little squares, but it's easier to sew. Easier to sew. Just cut it up after you've already sewn it together. But I don't know if I like those two colors together. This green is going to go with that blue, that lapis blue. Blue and green together is gorgeous. And this already has like a little tinge of blue in it. I'm having a hard time separating them. There. Okay, so Like I was starting to say earlier, I fly by the seat of my pants. I don't have a good setup where I can show you things. So I forget, what I would was just like people who know me, who've been watching me, know that I'm just talking. And so I start trying to multitask and do two things at once. But you can tell it's not organized. It's not like for me to teach you. It's just sharing with you what I'm doing. And I wish, there's a lot of things I'd like to teach because there's a lot of things I need to do. And here's the deal, people. Time is short. Time is really short. Especially when you go and you look online and you see that the church, the prophet, and all the things that's going on, they are talking about the second coming. They are talking about getting ready. It's not just me. And I'm not talking about it because I heard it at church. I'm telling you. Okay, people are going to think that's really weird. Yes, I know. Prophet. The prophets are not just men. There's a different way to look at it. People don't get all up in arms. The priesthood is with the men, but the power of God is with us all. And someone who is really in tune, just saying, a lot of times I'd be telling you people stuff. And then the next thing you know, I'm reading scripture that I had no idea I was going to read. And there it is, telling you what I told you. Prophecy is a gift. It takes faith and belief. Those are two different things. I used to think they were the same, but they're not. We can believe, but then we're just not sure. And faith is believing and being quite sure. But I believe that's reserved for God. I think some people forget that. They expect you to have all this faith in them when you don't even know them that well. You've really taken a leap of faith. Anyway, I am learning a lot from tutorials. So that is why I would say to do that, because there are some people out there that know what they're doing. And I need to go find them too. Here I am. Okay, I was telling you about the second machine. Okay, so I'm using my daughter's machine. That thing goes up and down. The arm, we'll call it the arm. It goes up and down so smooth, lickety split, so nice. But it keeps breaking my thread. So there's a problem. It's not only breaking my thread, it's also gathering up my stuff as I sew. So there's a problem. And my thread going down through the tension was way too tight. That's where it was stuck, was inside that tension. And I hate messing with tension because that can really get you out of whack. But I did it. I moved it a couple of notches because maybe it was just stuck from not being used. I don't know when her machine was used, before either. But the arm sure glides really nice. I love that. I just wish I wouldn't have problems. I'm ready to get into... I'm ready to sew. Ready to sew. And see, I need to get the same. I don't know how much I need. I don't know how much material I need, how many different blocks or whatever. I'm just, again, flying by the seat of my pants. Just like on this channel. So also another thing, if you go down and look at my post, and you go down, go down that rabbit hole, whatever, you will find I think 3. Anyway, there's a couple or more pictures of me when I was younger. There's one picture in there when I was 16. I'm in a clown outfit and I got a little girl next to me. But that's not the ones I'm talking about. Those papers that I wrote, there are some pictures that will show you about how old I was when I wrote them. I was 27 when I wrote Turn On Your Light So You're Not in the Dark. So anyway, that's why those pictures are there, to show you me in my younger days, but also that's what I looked like when I wrote those papers. And if you go and find my papers, you, depending on who you are, you will love them, okay? Just saying. The gift of the Holy Ghost. There are gifts that come with the gift of the Holy Ghost. And with practicing faith. Meaning, you just believe like a little child. You believe so much. No room for doubt. But again, I will say, this is for God. This is not just for your fellow man. So anyway, I am not good enough to teach you guys about how to thread a machine. And each machine is going to be different. So I would be just looking it up. Every time I asked my sister a question, she said, Google it. And I would get mad about that because I don't want to Google it. I said, if you got the answer, just give it to me. You know, but oh no, I have to go look it up. But the whole point is, people, I'm not an expert, and I don't want to steer you wrong. I'm just trying to fill the void in my life right now with something really great that I can leave my grandchildren. So no matter what happens, they'll have something that their grandma made them. So that's what I'm trying to do. And I'm driving my little head crazy, trying to figure out, how can I do this and how can it be simple? You know, they have those rag quilts that looks just totally simple. And it would be tempting to do that because they're going to be using them on the couch. It's not going to be for covering up your whole bed. I'm just doing personal ones. However, my grandchildren are of adult size. And 2 of them are over 6 feet. So that will play into the size of the quilt. But it's really going to be just for a personal use. Like laying on the couch and covering yourself up. Being a little cozy. And see, some of them have another person there that they want to be cozy with. But I don't want to be making a real huge quilt. And I've got 5 grandkids and 1 daughter that I want to make quilts for. So it's aggravating when the machine won't work. So like I said, I have adjusted the tension a little bit. And so far, so good. I don't know how to put those feet that are underneath, the pressure foot, and then underneath there's these other feet that help to move the fabric along. It's sticking way up. I don't like how much it's sticking up. Might be good, but I don't know if there's a way to adjust it. It seems like there would be. But I just want my machine that I just got from that woman. I want the arm to move up and down nice, like Jessica's. Because that would just make it so sweet. Because the machine has different stitches. It has a satin applique, which I don't know how to use, but it has a really great owner's manual. You see, I've been guessing on how to thread the machine myself. Trying to go through the owner's manual and look and say, okay, you know. And then I didn't know there's this little loop-de-loo on both sides of the needle. So I put it around this one. Well, I saw a different picture of something that someone was doing with the machine, and it showed me it was on the other side. So I had put it around the wrong loop. But again, that was the machine I just got from that lady. So now Jessica's machine is totally different. I'm not sure if it's called a Simplicity, but that tension thing sticks way out in the front. And maybe it's just tight because it hasn't been used. Like I said, I don't know what I'm doing. I wish I did. And I'm having a very difficult time putting the thread through the needle. Being able to see the hole to put the the thread through. So, SCW, so. Anyway, people, I want to do good. And I get really frustrated, and I don't want to get too frustrated that I quit. Because I've got too much invested already in buying material and shopping for material, trying to find the right colors and stuff, which it doesn't, and I've got these different ideas, because right now I'm just doing a crisscross, but there could be 4 different colors in that 4-pack. I'm calling it a 4-pack. But in other words, I could do these different strips, iron them out and cut them, and then mix them up. So instead of doing 2 of the same, like the chocolate brown and the blue, do 4 different colors put together in a square. But I still don't want to make a design. And I am sick. I need to eat. I do bad when I don't eat. I do get ill. And this is not what you need. This is not what you need. This would be more for grafting, probably. I'm using it, but it doesn't give me enough room to grip onto it. I wanted to get something smaller than what I've got, which I've got a 2-foot ruler. But I still want one that's wide. So anyway, hit and miss. Basically, I'm using it so it wasn't a waste. And it is a smaller thing, but then I've got to be careful not to cut my hand off. Because that thing's sharp. And then they have the blades, but I don't know what size this is. I might just have to take it with me. I need to get the tape measure and measure it, but this is the first one. I've never changed the blade. And I can't get all the way through. Anyway, it is going to look pretty cool. And I should have went ahead and got that white. But you know what? That'll be so filthy by the time I got it done. I'm getting dizzy in the head. I can hear my daughter talking. She's talking way fast. I'm just like, oh. Anyway, okay, people. I just wanted to let you know that I can't really help you in that way. I appreciate your comments, and it's nice to know someone is watching. I'm just trying to, like I said, fill a void in my life, for one thing, and leave something of worth behind with my grandchildren and my daughter. Now, my daughter, I made us a quilt. I don't know that I made it for her. I might have, but I made us a quilt. I worked on a quilt, and she has it somewhere. And it's more like what I would call haphazard. I loved velvet. I had a lot of different velvet scraps, and I would just put them together on something I must have already put together. In other words, a top and a bottom, and then just sewed it on in patches. But there was no rhyme or reason. I just tried to not match all the time. Anyway, it was more like your psychedelic. I call it psychedelic. It's not. I don't know what you would call it. So I have to quit thinking, because my head is starting to get all dizzy and stuff. So my update for my cancer numbers is the numbers have gone down. And it has only been 2 months since we did them. So they went down from 198 to 162 and 202 to 170. So it's still 30. Oh, I notice my head's starting to feel a little bit strange. So I need to attend to it. Take care, people. Thanks for the comments and thanks for stopping by, and hope I didn't disappoint. Bye.